after Bowser Jr. was announced as the main villain of the second Mario and Luigi movie, have you ever asked yourself, after all, where was he during the first movie? If he is Bowser's son, who is his mother? And what's more, where did he get those incredible powers that he used to almost wipe the floor with Mario? Yeah, I asked myself those same questions and ended up discovering incredible things about this character who promises to cause a lot of trouble for the Mushroom Kingdom and its defenders. Moving on to the main question that I'm sure is on the minds of most Mario movie fans, who the real mother of Bowser's son would be, there are a series of options. Bowser Jr. himself believed for a long time that Peach was his real mother. Of course, he was misled by his father, Bowser. However, after feeling guilty at the end of the game Super Mario Sunshine, when father and son are in a tub floating away from Il Delfino, Bowser himself reveals to the little turtle lizard that Peach was not his mother. But surprisingly, the heir to the Koopa throne reveals that he already knew that, showing that the kid is smarter than we all thought. But this actually just reinforces the question. After all, where the heck did this villain come from? Then in an interview, Shigeru Miyamoto, the creator of the Mario games, was asked about this and gave an unusual answer. He said, "I am Bowser Jr.'s mother." Of course, even though he is the father and mother of all the characters, since after all he was the one who created them, this was nothing more than a joke. The fact is that so far, remembering that the Super Mario Galaxy movie hasn't been released yet, there isn't an official confirmation of who Bowser Jr.'s mother would be, or if he even has one at all. This is because there is a big chance he came to life in another way, as we are going to explain in a bit in this same video. So, if you want to have your mind blown, stay here with us. A lot of people don't know, but for a long time, Bowser Jr. wasn't an only child. He had nothing less than seven siblings, 6 brothers, and 1 sister. These 7 siblings were the Koopalings, a group of Koopas much more powerful than the others who played the role of generals in the army of the franchise's great villain. Actually, even today, if you play the older games, which were released between 1988 and 2001, you'll notice that there it is said that they are Bowser's children, and not just his servants. Which means that the Koopalings were Bowser's only children for approximately 14 years, since in 2002, Bowser Jr. made his first appearance in Super Mario Bros. Sunshine. However, even after Jr. appeared, the Koopalings weren't removed from the position of children of Mario's great enemy, making it so that, officially, for a few years, the King of the Koopas had nothing less than 8 children. However, everything changed in 2009, after the release of New Super Mario Bros. Wii, where Shigeru Miyamoto stated that from that moment on, the Koopalings would no longer be Bowser's children, but just his minions, making it clear that the true heir of Mario's enemy and Bowser's only legitimate child is really Bowser Jr. Which makes sense, since if it's already hard to explain who the mother of one child is, imagine explaining 8. However, the story of the brotherhood between Bowser and the Koopalings isn't over yet, because in 2014, in the game Mario Kart 8, each of the members of the group of Koopa generals is called a Koban, which is a Japanese term used to designate someone who is much more than a henchman, almost as if they were an adopted child. In this way, we can say that the Koopalings are considered by Nintendo and probably by Bowser himself as adopted children, making them, once again, Bowser Jr.'s siblings in a certain way, right? In other words, truly, children are something the fire-breathing turtle in love with Peach is not lacking, confirming that Bowser Jr. is very far from being an only child. Actually, according to the trailers, we see that so far, none of these ex-children of Bowser have shown their faces, indicating that they might appear in a 3rd or 4th movie of the franchise, which would definitely be really cool. Although the Koopalings and Bowser Jr. are practically foster siblings, that doesn't necessarily mean they get along all the time. There are some in this group of Super Koopas who are closer to Junior than others. For example, this is the case of Morton, the biggest of the Koopalings, who was the only one to stay by Bowser Jr.'s side the whole time in one of the franchise's games after the Koopa heir said he didn't need them. Morton even went so far as to give Junior, out of pure kindness, a charred chicken leg, which is undoubtedly a beautiful act. However, other Koopalings also have a close relationship with Junior. For example, this is the case of Roy, who is so close to the little turtle lizard that he calls him Brat, right to his face without any fear of being punished, in a friendly way of course. In another game, Puzzle & Dragons Super Mario Bros. Edition, Bowser summons the Koopalings as backup, and we can see Lemmy himself, another one of the Koopa generals, hanging out with Bowser Jr. in his Junior clown car. However, stepping away a bit from the Bowser family, the little villain has friendships with characters you wouldn't even be able to imagine. For example, during the NES part showing the online gameplay, Bowser Jr. and Princess Peach were shown playing against each other remotely and having fun, with Bowser looking perplexed witnessing this, which in a certain way shows that the relationship between the two is friendly, even after he found out what everyone knew, that Peach wasn't his mother. Another person who is considered by the little turtle lizard as a close friend is Olivia, King Ollie's sister, who is introduced in the game Paper Mario, the Origami King. Throughout the plot of the game released in 2020, Bowser Jr. makes friends with Olivia, and generally speaking, gets along well with her. Olivia herself considers Jr. a friend, as seen in her dialogue before the fight against King Ollie. Bowser Jr. gets a little upset when Olivia, unintentionally, starts praising his junior clown car instead of him after its colors were restored. However, later, at the Hotfoot Crater, he was willing to sacrifice himself so that Mario and Olivia could continue climbing up to Peach's castle. In other words, little Bowser is more loved than we imagined. Isn't that true? If you're enjoying this video, do the smart thing and hit that subscribe button so you won't miss any of our future videos. Going back once again to the theme of the real origin of Bowser Jr., Nintendo itself has already stated that he is in fact the son of the King of the Koopas, and not a clone of his, which leaves us with only a few options for the origin of the heir to Mario's greatest enemy. The first hypothesis would be related to Bowser Jr.'s own main weapon, the magic paintbrush. The object is a large brush with the ability to paint with various colors. Although this magic paint can alter the landscape, create portals, and generate obstacles or enemies, besides becoming the most different types of weapons, as we saw in the Super Mario Galaxy trailer. According to a theory, before belonging to Junior, the object belonged to his father, Bowser, who used it to paint the image he had of a son that one day he would have with Peach. And as we know, it seems that Bowser has been practicing painting for a long time, well before Mario and Luigi appeared in his life. According to this hypothesis, due to the magic properties of the ink, at some point, the drawing of little Bowser came out of the painting and came to life, thus becoming the Bowser Jr. we know, and the purest creation and work of art of Father Bowser. Another theory claims that the origin of the little turtle lizard is much less pleasant. But before talking about it, we'll have to recall one of the funniest scenes from the Super Mario Galaxy trailers. At a certain moment, we see that Yoshi simply swallows Kamek, and then he himself lays an egg with glasses, which is Kamek himself who will return to action again after being hatched. And what if, theoretically, Bowser also possessed the ability to lay eggs just like Yoshi? If this is true, it would be quite possible that after laying an egg, something that happens only once in the life of specimens like Bowser's, out of it came none other than Bowser Jr. himself, who was raised by his father with all love and care, teaching him to try to defeat Mario at any cost. Another possibility would be that Kamek himself, who we spoke about just a moment ago, was the architect behind the creation of Bowser Jr. Think about it. As the supreme mage of the Koopas, we know that Kamek holds the most incredible powers. What if he possesses a secret formula to create children of beings using his abilities associated with the advanced technology of the Koopas? After gathering all the ingredients, like Bowser's hair, pieces of his shell, and a bit of dust from his horn, the mage of the Koopas may have uttered his magic words, and from that day on, our not-so-dear Junior appeared. The truth is that Nintendo owes us the answer to this question to this day, and we are hoping that it will be resolved soon, who knows, maybe in Super Mario Galaxy. Going now to the opposite of little Bowser's friends, let's talk about those known enemies and the not-so-known ones. Obviously, we need to start our list with our eternal defender of good, Mario. The short plumber and the heir of his worst enemy have already faced each other many, many times. That's why, without a doubt, Luigi's brother is the one he deeply despises and wishes to defeat to prove his worth to his father. This happens because Bowser Jr. helps his father in nefarious plans to dominate the Mushroom Kingdom or kidnap Princess Peach, but Mario is always there to thwart his plans. The anger of the young turtle lizard towards our protagonist is quite evident in Super Mario Sunshine, where he frames him for vandalizing Il Delfino, which leads to his arrest. Furthermore, he challenges Mario in several stages as Shadow Mario. Later, Bowser Jr. claims that he is trying to protect his mother from the bad man Mario. When Mario appears for the final showdown against Bowser, Bowser Jr. demonstrates contempt for the plumber's presence and says, "You again? Don't you ever give up?" Besides Mario, obviously he can't stand Luigi, and also Blue Toad and Yellow Toad, who, in the games where he is present, were Mario's main helpers who ended up thwarting his father's plans throughout the next games. Another person that he doesn't like one bit is King Ollie from the Origami Kingdom, mainly for having folded and stapled his father after having transformed him into paper origami. All of this shows how Bowser Jr.'s life is much more complicated than one can imagine, and he, for sure, is going to be a formidable enemy for Mario and Luigi to defeat in the Super Mario Galaxy movie, which I am super anxious to see in the theater. Like Bugs Bunny would say, that's all, folks. Or is it? We're leaving 2 more videos, so you can keep watching with us. And trust me, they're worth it. See you later.